Hi everyone. Now, girls engaged in ICT and STEM is crucial today, even more than years past. Girls' access to digital tools and internet is becoming more important than ever. It is crucial for young ladies and girls to be able to access information, access services, seek job openings, communicate with friends, family, mentors, and yet still in a safe environment. The world has gradually evolved to include women in spaces that were once a man's preserve. We, however, need to agree that it is important to realize that every girl has the right to access digital tools and access them in a safe environment. We still have some way to go to include girls in our digital environment. Today, I'm sitting with young ladies who recently joined Ericsson through the graduate trainee program to discuss what it takes for a young girl, a young woman to stand tall in the ICT space and in STEM. Welcome, ladies, to this lovely discussion. We'll start by introducing ourselves. Please let us know who you are. Let us know what you do at Ericsson. Let us know what you wanted to be 10 years ago and what motivated you to be who you are today. And where do you see yourself 10 years from now? We'll start with Flora.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. I'm called Flora Afanu BC Tender, and I'm actually a master's holder in telecommunications engineering. I recently joined Ericsson in September as a graduate trainee as an integration engineer, and now I support Congo Brazzaville as an SME under the mobile money deployment department. Well, as for what I wanted to be 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm really a lover of music. So I really wanted to be a sound engineer because I wanted to do my own beats in my own way. I even had dreams of making an instrument with water and all that. But unfortunately, I couldn't find a school around me which permitted me to do that. So I switched. I actually went to an engineering school in the first years we did maths and physics, so I developed a passion for telecommunications engineering, and so I actually wanted to be a telecom engineer after that. So that what motivated me to become an integration engineer at Ericsson right now. Okay, I actually have a dream to have an IoT company, and you know how IoT is broad. There's so many branches of IoT, like, so you really need to know like the cutting edge technology in order for you to survive in that company. So being an integration engineer at Ericsson is actually like a very good footing for me, because which other company is it better to be in if you want to find out the latest technologies that will permit you to be able to open a company, like an IoT company in your own country. So Ericsson is really great. They have really great culture, and I think I'm going to learn most of what I'll need for that. So that brings me to the end of my introduction, which actually says what I want to be in 10 years. So in 10 years' time, I really want to create an IoT company in Cameroon, because I've noticed that there are so many things we can do if we actually use the technology and the recent digital tools which are available. I really want to do smart farming, smart houses, making life more beautiful, making tools more accessible to people, making lives easier. So that's where I see myself in 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Flora. That is a beautiful introduction. So we move on to Hatis.
Hello, everyone. So after listening to Flora, I was like, wow. And my name is Hatice Zehra. Well, I'm based in Turkey right now. Last June in 2021, I joined Istanbul SWAC team as a software developer and working on IoT projects today. Also, I'm connected to Ericsson One Sweden Hub as an entrepreneur for innovation, let's say, incubation. Apart from that, since my childhood, actually, not only 10 years ago, I always wanted to become astronaut. Maybe it is very cliche for a child to grown a love on astronomy, but then it was a story. But since the opportunities in my, let's say, home country are not very equal with every, let's say, geographies, my, let's say, love through astronomy evolved through interest in physics and mathematics. That's why, looking through my alternatives in my space, I decided to become an electrical electronic engineer. And by the time, of course, I, let's say, learned about robotics and other fields that I can be working. And today in IoT laboratories, I'm actually learning the company space. I'm learning how to integrate with the age-breaking technologies. That's why Ericsson is feeding me very well, and hopefully I'm feeding it back. And when it comes to 10 years, let's say, story from now, what, let's say, what is my dream for 10 years is very familiar to Flora, but from different aspects. Well, since I couldn't have alternative to study space technologies, I really want to provide equal opportunities for people living in this region around space technologies. So in 10 years, maybe not in 10 years, but in 15 years, I want to pursue my grad degrees further and further, maybe after PhD. And also I will just gain some experiences in great companies as this one. And in the end, I would love to serve all the communities in these regions to have access to some space tech. I think that's it about me.
Thank you so much, Hatis. Big dreams, but it's lovely. It's good to hear you started having these dreams many years ago. Emmy,
Hi everyone. My name is Amy and I joined Ericsson last year in August as an account manager on the graduate program, and I'm based in Botswana. When I look back at myself 10 years ago, I knew that I wanted to succeed, be financially independent, but I didn't really have any specific objectives, not like, the ladies that just spoke before me. But I definitely knew that I wanted to succeed. And as I got older and as I got exposed to the world, and as I got to learn about like science and mathematics and even business, I became more and more goal oriented. I became like ruthlessly ambitious, and I knew that no, this is what I want to do. And now, when I look at myself 10 years in the future, I definitely want to be in a leadership position. And I know that to do this, I have to pursue further education. I want to have all of the qualifications that are necessary for my role. And to do this, I'll also, be able to become an invaluable asset to the organization that I work for. And I'm a person who believes that I don't have to just stick to like one place. I love exploring and I love learning about something new. I like change. I appreciate all of that. So I'm looking forward to trying different roles and seeing what I like and being innovative. This really sparks my creativity. So I'm looking forward to that in the next 10 years and hopefully working with wonderful women like Hatis and Flora along the way.
I think one word for you, Emmy, is just ambition. Yeah, you just need ambition to continue to go all the way to leadership. Wissam,
Yes.
we're at you now.
Hi everyone. My name is Wissam Shaheen, and I started working with Ericsson as a graduate trainee in 2020. And currently, I'm a full-time employee as an integration engineer. 10 years ago, I wanted to be a doctor. I think everyone in Sudan wanted to be a doctor as a kid, especially my father was a doctor and my older sister is a doctor. So I figured that I would just follow the same path. But maturing, I started to take interest in subjects about engineering and thinking about engineering as the career. So I applied for Faculty of Mathematical Sciences here and got my bachelor degree. I so after understanding the big world of tech, what I wanted to do in 10 years is Actually, I'm really interested about infrastructure. So I wanted to develop the infrastructure of my country, Sudan. I think tech infrastructure will be an important part because tech, the future is all about tech, and if you don't have the solid infrastructure for it, you'll be forgotten. So I hope I hope I will do my master's degree and gain all the skills I need so I can develop this infrastructure in my country.
Beautiful, lovely, Wissam. We are looking forward to hearing your name out there in the news one day. Thank you, ladies, for the introduction. Now, we do realize that access to digital tools is not available to everyone. There are still young girls who have never seen a computer. There are young girls who don't have access to internet completely. What are some of the challenges that girls are facing in accessing digital tools? And how do you feel that this is affecting them? Emmy, you possibly can. I want to throw this question to you. So, what do you think? What are some of the challenges that girls are facing out there in accessing digital tools? And how do you see this affecting girls and young women as they are coming up?
I definitely think that there are so many challenges that are affecting young girls, and young women as well from accessing digital tools. One of them might be the obligations and responsibilities that they have to their households and their families. I think this really limits them from accessing digital tools as much as they would want to, or at all. For example, when there is an unequal or an uneven division of labor and chores at home, where the daughter is supposed to do all of the cleaning, all of the washing, all of the cooking all day. And by the end of the day, she's way too exhausted, and she doesn't have enough time left to do anything else. And while maybe some of the other kids have the computer or the tablet all day, or even a TV, just something that exposes them to the telecom industry and to computers. Um, Another one that's very similar to the obligations and responsibilities might be like cultural pressures, stereotypes that often discourage girls from developing the skills that are necessary for ICT. It's preconceived from our heads growing up in certain households that, oh, you're doing science, math, or Hatis, you want to be an astronaut? What? That's boring, or that's a boys' game and that's a men's field. And over time, if you keep hearing this as a young girl, it's deeply rooted in your head and can influence your choices and reduce your interest and confidence as well in ICT, turning them away from a career that can change the world.
Yeah,
Yes, Flora. Mm.
I really agree with you on that, especially, for example, when boys are being exposed to maybe playing video games and and I don't know, having computers, tablets before the age of 10, while girls see that only by the age of 18. Once they're being exposed at that young age, maybe to phones and video games, it already like ignites the curiosity in them. How does this work? So they already start thinking ahead of us. Whereas girls, we are in the kitchen and we're trying to figure out how to slice the tomatoes better, to make the sauce better. Guys are trying to figure out how this 3D works and so on. And that makes them more interested in science, in physics. When they're in class, they concentrate more, they try to be more practical because they are already using these things. While girls are being suppressed, they're being pushed to the farm, to the kitchen, and all that. That's what's really stopping girls from accessing or wanting to access or building up that curiosity to access digital tools and see what it's all about. And also the mindset, I mean, like a girl will grow in a house where, okay, her brother is an engineer and her sister is a nurse and all, just follow the footsteps of her sister. Or maybe in a society where all the guys are engineers, or so you just follow the trend. We just tend to follow the trend. So that's what's really stopping us from accessing these digital tools. And maybe even some laboratories, why not? Maybe a place like where you can have free computers and people want to come and study and so on. Sometimes just the fact that you're a girl when you go there, maybe they tend to shift you towards the library. Yeah, you can go and read some books, some story books, and then the computers are for the guys. There's always that mind, there's that cultural thing, and we really need to break it.
Hatis, go
Also,
ahead.
may I jump in? Thank you. So I definitely agree with Flora and Amy on their point. And also, I wanted to give some brief comments. Of course, these comments will be based on my experiences. So I would apologize anyone who experienced different life. Maybe mine is more privileged than theirs. So when it comes to my experiences, I think we can discuss this topic in two aspects. First, the opportunities in rural spaces and urban spaces are not very equal. And second, the development of the city is impacting how the girls evolving to tomorrow's. So when it comes to developed cities to urban places, I believe the big cities have more inclusive, let's say, opportunities for women. So women are more supported through science, technology, engineering, or medicine fields, but there are still, let's say, possibilities that if woman says, okay, I'm doing engineering, then she hears like, okay, what engineering, food engineering, or some other feminine biased opinions. But when it comes to rural spaces, I believe there are different family types. Some family types which follows very cultural or biased opinions that they don't even, let's say, allow their girls to study after high school, even to high school. So the indispensable fate for those women, I think, is to be married off in after some age. And the other people who are just breaking the chains, the cultural or social chains that bonds them in a stuck, let's say, period, and they support their children. But then there comes the second concern. I think they want their women, or let's say, or their girls or boys, to have social security once they are graduated. So they don't care what their, let's say, children are studying, but then they should have employment right after their graduation, or their, let's say, fate become a marriage again in rural. So I think through this aspect, I will say maybe we can say in developed places, woman has more advantaged stage. So we have access to tools, we see the future, and we are evolving, or we are changing this world to become a better for next generation. But in rurals, there are places waits our support. So not only me, but I believe this team will start the impact small by small, maybe tiny by tiny, but it will grow really hugely, hopefully.
Yes, Hatis, and I agree with you. And I'm just wondering, just on what you've talked about rural, uh, what do you think is the best way to reach these rural girls? I mean, how do we reach them? Because a lot of it is cultural. But is there anything that maybe governments needs to do to reach these girls in the rural, right in the rural areas?
Well, I think it is easy for us. I mean, I think this question was directed to me, right? I didn't jump
Yes,
in.
yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think urging governments through this, let's say, women empowerment, specifically in rural places, and maybe thinking through the global south is very essential, because from an inspirational point, tomorrows are belong to children, and children are raised by women, right? So, but unfortunately, these cultural biases are very hard to break. So we need to somehow not directly access to girls in that space, but firstly their parents. So to increase awareness, maybe there might be some festivals, some tech festivals, or other innovations to touch their hearts and make them believe woman is a strong, let's say, gender, and she can become tomorrow's leader. So they first need to believe in their children, and to be able to do it, of course, governments can organize a lot of events or a lot of different systematic educational or approach through those families. And once we break the stereotype in fathers and mothers' heart, then these, let's say, girls have access to education, and education changes everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very, very true. Wissam, what do you feel are some of the insecurities that women are facing in digital spaces? And what advice would you give to girls who are shying off? You know, there's many girls that shy off. There's many women. It's not only girls, even older women who are shying off from the digital spaces, you know, because they don't know, they don't feel secure in those places. So what would you advise such a girl? But first start by telling us, what do you feel are the insecurities in digital spaces?
So first, I think of insecurities when working on a digital space. So as a professional, as if you're pursuing actually being a tech engineer in the tech industry, I think the first insecurity that girls have or women have is about their skills and their competence, because they're normally are not treated as same as their peer male, or thought of as less competent and less skillful than other males. So I think this is the the biggest challenge in this section. Also, awareness. I think some girls, so if they're lucky enough to actually break the cultural barrier, break the economical barrier, and actually pursue tech, I think some of them are not aware of the possibilities and the broad range of professional lines you can pursue in tech. So it's not only you be a single developer or be a specific job role. So in tech is there is a broad a broad professional titles, let's say. So my first advice for young girls pursuing this. So first of all, do not be afraid of trying new things, because tech is relatively new, and you might not have anyone in your family actually pursuing tech and studying tech. So first you need to not be afraid of trying new things, and do not do not let anyone uh, tell you that you can't, or you're not skillful enough, because as you chose this path, as you walking on this path, of course you will find some people trying to degrade your skills. So you need just to brush it off and focus on what you want to do in 10 years, how do you want to build the tech industry, and then focus on your goal and brush off all these negative comments.
I'm also just wondering, ladies, how do we deal with cyberbullying? Because I believe that women are more prone to cyberbullying than men.
Yes. Let me uh, try to jump to the question. So
Yes.
I think first of all, of course, awareness for girls on how to deal with such situations. We countries need to have regulations and laws for such things, so they can so women are protected virtually. Uh, I think it's actually more important of doing a law and actually enforcing them, because I think most of the countries have law, but no one no one actually use this law, or girls do not know about such rule in rule for actually cyberbullying.
Atis, you also wanted to say something?
Definitely. I mean, you heard my voice very much in this period. Promise I will leave the stage to others, but I'm so frustrated when it comes to digital harassment and cyberbullying through women. And I really wanted to share a strong representation of how women fight against the harassment through very well-known professional platform. So as majority of us know, we are using some professional websites to find, let's say, jobs or to share some updates related to our positions, right? So in some spaces, unfortunately, some dareful men uses those spaces as their wife catalogs. They look through the careers of women and they think they can just private message us to become their future wives. No, that's not okay. And I saw really great examples how women dealt with it. They exposed the names. They exposed independent from if the man is their boss, if they are colleagues, or someone very unknown to them. So they exposed the message, they exposed the name. Of course, in the first hand, they warned the people, specifically the person who was harassing them. If he pursued on the, let's say, behavior, then exposing solves the issue. and and there is the second alternative, I believe, the block button. If you think that person disturbs you, use that button. Feel free. And completely agree with Wissam. Regulations definitely will help us, not only women, but since we more talk about equalized world, I know some men are also facing cyberbullying and harassment. So I think there should be some availability for us to report those people to really impactful forms. That would be it.
Thank you. Thank you. Flora, you wanted to say something, to add something to that
Yeah,
conversation?
like it
Hmm.
hurts me so much. Like you can imagine some people go to LinkedIn and are trying to chat girls on LinkedIn. I mean, like where's respect gone to? And what gives a guy the guts to go to a girl's profile on LinkedIn and tries to chat the girl? I mean, we have to stop this. It's becoming too much. Girls face a lot, and it's sometimes it's frustrating though, because you start chatting with this person thinking that maybe you're going to make a network with the person and you have maybe an opportunity for a job, and the next thing the person is asking you to meet up, and it's frustrating. So these are one of the great challenges. We don't feel safe in these spaces. One of the great challenges, and I think there should really be, as Hati said, there should be a button. Just click on block so they'll never have access to you again. And to add to what Wissam was saying, I think one of the main challenges girls face in tech spaces is actually people looking down on them. And when I talk about people looking down on them, it's not just boys who look down on girls, even girls look down on girls. Yes, I mean, you're trying to apply for a job role and a girl is interviewing you. She really feels like she feels your heart. So if she can't do it, all she knows how to do is to cook and all. It means you can't do it. I mean, who are you to come and apply as a senior software developer in the company? So we really have to break this mindset, and that leads to girls having to prove themselves. And it's true, it's unfair for us to have to go and prove ourselves. Like we have to go further than what we can do, but if we have to do that at the beginning, then we should do it. We should prove ourselves. It's not a problem, so that by proving ourselves, we're going to make things easier for the girls who are coming up in tech. So when they see a girl coming with a CV and she passes a test, they'll not have to find out even more if she can actually do the job. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add to what Wissam said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Very enlightening. Yeah, really good. What are some of the major challenges? So, just Flora, just picking from where you have stopped, what are the challenges that girls, young women, ladies are actually facing in the ICT world, especially in schools and in the workplace? Amy, you can start us off on that, or Flora, continue.
Now let me give the floor to Amy. It's okay.
Okay, Amy, let's continue, and then Flo can speak after you.
Thank you, Flora. um, there's so many challenges I think that women and young girls face, especially in school and in work. I think the first one that I can think of is to add on to what Flora said about having to prove ourselves. You know, it's like this external and internal pressure from other people that they put on us, and then an internal pressure that we as women put on ourselves. You know, the need to want to go above and beyond to prove yourself beyond what is required, just having potential to do something, potential to succeed, potential to, be excellent at this job or be excellent at this project doesn't seem to be enough. You have to have like a proven track record that you can do something, or you go the extra mile for people to recognize your talent, for people to recognize what you can do. And well, like what Flora said, it is what it is. And just talking about the issues doesn't make a difference. We just have to keep going, keep pushing, and I know we'll get there. And I think if about the pressures, one of the things that can alleviate this is having like role models, as women. And a lack of role models is also another challenge. Like there's a lack of female role models and mentors that can guide you during your career, during as you're developing over time. Maybe it's because there are not many women in executive positions, like in the industry. And if there's a lack of high profile women, who can be role models, fewer girls will want to pursue ICT as a career, because you're not seeing people who look like you in these high positions. So it seems like it's far-fetched. It seems like it's something that's unlikely to be done. So, role models can be influential. They can provide ideas and valuable knowledge on how you to pursue your career, the skills you need to develop, the competencies you need in order to succeed.
Thank you. Flora, you wanted to add something? And hold on
Okay.
to that thought, Amy, of role models. We are coming back to that. Flora, you want to add something to that too?
Okay, I also wanted to say, like, I think Hatis or Amy said, while growing up, maybe the responsibilities you have as a lady in the house can stop you from actually pursuing a career in STEM, because you have so many things to do. You have to wake up and wash dishes and do stuff, and then you have assign, because engineering requires not only theory but practical. So you need to have time to study, to go beyond and understand the formulas and all. But girls are mostly seen as the people who have to do the extra work in the house. Maybe in most countries, though, I'm not going to generalize, because maybe in some countries they are developed and their minds are different. But from where I am, the lady has to do everything and still go to school and still do whatever thing she has to do. It's true, ladies are born with the talent of multitasking, but then there's a level to everything. I think we need to fast track the balance between work and school, between house duties and work. For example, a woman, a career woman, you have to strike the balance. Like, men have to start helping out in the house. Parents have to understand that the duties in the house or house chores are supposed to be divided equally between girls and women, to give everybody the chance to do what they want to do. If they want to do something complicated as mechanical engineering, they can do that without being extra stressed. So that's what I wanted to add to what Amy said.
Thank you very much. Wissam, what about you? What do you feel are some of the challenges that we are going through in the schools? Also remembering that these challenges are different from culture to culture, from place to place. What are your general feelings, Wissam?
So I can only speak from my experience. So when I was in college pursuing my bachelor degree in IT, I I've noticed I threw out many voluntary work, many projects, many hackathons. I tried to I applied for. I noticed that almost males try to team up with other males, so they trying to avoid completely being in a team with with females. I'm not sure what their mindset when they choosing this path, but I think probably because they're underestimating their skills and they think that it will lower their score in the competition or something. Also, I think again awareness about uh, after during university we need more workshops uh, of informing people about all the possible roles you can do. So girls or boys during their university, they think that if they can develop or they can do a specific skills that they just failed in tech. So we need to let them know that there is a whole range of professional lanes in tech, so they do not get discouraged if they just not that pretty good in a section. They can still do all the other roles in tech. So yeah, that's
Basically, not giving up, you know, just keep pushing, keep going, don't give up. Yes, Hatis.
So I think there's another challenge that the girls didn't mention, but I would love to make it on stage because I'm sure everyone experienced it. BT shadows your talents. So in the teams, the beauty of the woman, how bright her face, how well she dressed up, how beautiful she made makeup, or how, let's say, feminine she is acting, is actually shadowing how talented she is, sorry. So I experienced it in through my college years. I saw it in different workplaces, and I know some of the people are experiencing it. Maybe not personally, but we are seeing that is applied to our colleagues. So even though she can do something or she cannot do something, she is entitled in a team because she is just very popular within the male teams. And that's not okay. Man, you should know your place. Otherwise, we are coming to stage to know your place. I think that will be it here. Just a
Yes,
I,
small
Emmy.
comment.
Yes, Emmy.
what Hattis is saying is actually, it's actually true, you know? People, I don't know if people just tend to like sexualize women all the time and unnecessarily, you know? You get like unwanted attention without even trying, you know? Imagine being an engineer and just trying to climb a tower or do something and everybody's just like, no, I'm trying to do my job and I'm trying to do this thing. You know, I don't need all of that. And Wissam mentioned such a good point that I didn't actually, it never actually like registered in my head until she just mentioned it now, that as we're growing up, we don't realize that you don't need to have all of the skills and competencies in order to have a successful career in STEM. Like just because maybe you're poor in math or you're poor in one, you know, you're weak in one area doesn't mean that you're going to fail. You don't have to have all of these things, you know. There are so many different careers and, you know, positions that you can go for but still under STEM and still be like the successful person, because it's an endless world of possibilities once you enter this industry. And raising awareness to, you know, let young girls know that, hey, you can be very good in this one area and you can end up being, you know, a salesperson in tech. You can end up being a like Hatis, a software developer, or this and that. It's a whole world. You just need to be aware of what's there and know what's there.
Beautiful. Lovely. Thank you so much, ladies. And really, 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 the world is moving to a place that is so open, isn't it? That today you can become anything you want to become, and in the digital world, in STEM has become so wide. Like you say, you can become really anything, do anything. Amy, you're talking about leadership, you know you can move step with your course, with what you did, all the way into leadership one day, you know so lovely, ladies. Now we are going to go around the room and I'm going to ask you a very simple question. What do you wish you knew 5 years from now, 5 years ago, and how would that have changed how you do things today? How would that have changed you today? And I want to start with Sam, and we'll go around the entire room.
okay. So I think 5 years ago, I was I think, still in college, and what I really wanted to do is to have a mentor. I think some of the girls here in the call talked about not having enough mentors. I really wanted to have female mentors specifically, so I know that this is I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one facing these issues. So I think this will help me, would have helped me a lot in how I apply for opportunities, how I do such uh, projects in university and outside the university. I think it would have helped me a lot if I had a mentor throughout my university years.
We're coming back to the same word. Hatis, 5 years ago,
For
what
me, it will
should you
be.
have known?
Oh, I just jumped through the answer directly.
No, no,
Sorry,
no.
Joy.
Continue. Go ahead, Hatis.
I'm boiling here with a lot of, let's say, words. So even without setting them together, I just jump in and speak. So 5 years ago, it would probably be for me the opportunities abroad. So I looked through to study opportunities within my country based on my, let's say, exam results or based on my successes. But then by the time I explored how, let's say, would it change my career today if I studied in better, let's say, universities in different countries. First, it could provide me a different, let's say, educational perspective. And second, I would be experiencing a cultural, let's say, difference. Both, I think, is equal, let's say, developing our competencies. If we experience a different education system, it definitely increases our understanding of mathematical or different, let's say, if not in mathematics, in different, let's say, science subjects. And when it comes to social competence, I believe it really adds up in us to increase our communication skills and understand one to another. And when you understand one to another, you start understanding either your clients or your, let's say, project problems better. So I wish I did know it well or better, that I had greater opportunities in different countries. But now I'm already happy with my, let's say, starting point.
Yes, and one thing about actually what you're talking about, the other countries, is exposure. Some of the countries you're talking about, especially digitally, are way ahead. They have prepared their courses for 20 years ahead. Some of our countries possibly are not there, but it gives you the exposure and you can see the world from a different perspective, and you can actually visualize where you want to be 10 years to come, because the courses are already tailored that way, right?
It is so true that world have three classified groups: developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloped countries, unfortunately. And for me, I'm in, let's say, in line between mid to maybe a developed, through just increasing from developing to developed version. But I know there are really advanced countries which are just serving better technologies even to students. So maybe it is a bit late for me, at least for undergraduate, but I encourage any girl who is just thinking about studying abroad, even dreaming about it. If you believe it, you can do it. That's it.
Beautiful. Flora. Thank you, Hatis and Wissam. Flora?
Hmm. I mean, like 5 years ago, I wish I would have known how powerful this thing is. I mean, I wish I would have known how powerful Google is. I mean, there's so many things you can learn online. What I spent my time doing was complaining about how my teachers are not teaching us well, they're not giving us enough information. I didn't know it was all in here. Like, I really wish somebody should take me back. It is like everything you need is online. You just need to be aware, you just need to search. And the second thing I wish I knew was, I wish I knew every second counted. I mean, I could have been, I don't know where I would have been right now if I'd actually used my internet connection for research to find out about the job opportunities, career opportunities. I don't know. Like Wissam said, there are so many things you can do with just biology, with just chemistry, with just computer science. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be good at everything. No. And that's one thing That's one thing that we really struggle with in my country, because it's like you need to be good at everything. No, you don't need to be good at just with mathematics, just with coding. You can go so far. So I really wish I knew about time management and about research using Google. Yeah.
And that tells you the role of a mentor. Because the lack of a mentor, when you're in campus, when you're in college, the lack of someone to tell you that every second counts. Don't waste your life. Don't waste your time doing things that don't matter. You know, let's come to Amy.
Wow, Flora, that was so that hit me hard about time management, because I feel like it's a skill that even as adults, you still need to master that skill even now. What I wish I knew 5 years ago, I wish I knew that it's okay to not have your entire life figured out right away. Like, as long as you constantly push yourself every day to be the person that you want to be, I think you're doing fine and it's enough. Don't panic, don't freak out. And um, you can also decide to change the direction that you want to go at any time, you don't have to just stick to one thing. Like, be curious, try new things, dabble in new fields, try this and that, and it's perfectly fine. um, the world is forever changing and evolving, going at new directions, so why should you just be set in one thing? No, try something new, dabble in this or that, and explore the world, because it's just, there's so many possibilities, so many directions, so many things just waiting for you to try. And if I knew this 5 years ago, I probably would have been like having a different perspective now, not just developing this mindset now. So I think, yeah, that's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, um, all of you
Joy,
have talked about, yes, Hattis,
please let me in just for a second.
go ahead.
When do you provide us the time machine? Now you made us regret our decisions from 5 years ago. So we need it very urgently.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But now I want to take us somewhere, because a lot of the things we did wrong because we didn't have anyone who was possibly talking to us. We have grown older. We have seen a little bit more of the world. And now the world is teaching us differently. So I just want to ask us a question. What would you guys say to the women who are out there? They have been in STEM for years, yet there is no one they are carrying. There's no hand they have held and told them, let's walk this journey. What would your advice be to these ladies? Because they are out there. Laura.
What I'll tell these girls is you need to find someone to hold your hand. You need to find someone who is going to guide you, someone who is going to tell you that no, it's okay to fail this time. It's okay not to be too good at this, but you can do this or that in order to succeed, in order to be what you want to be. And this person must not be someone you're too close to, because people feel as people tend to shy away from networking. You can actually network, find someone in your school, find someone in your organization whom you admire, you admire the way she does or he does his things. You get to that person, talk to that person, tell the person about your goals, and see how it goes. If you talk, like, the worst thing that can happen is you have a no from the person, and it's less likely that you have a no from someone who actually does well in an organization and is able to reach that far. So you need to talk to people, not just one. You can talk to 5 people, then you will see that the conversation goes more smoothly with a particular person. Then you pick up from there. It's sometimes doing things your own way is like walking in the desert without actually knowing where you're going to. Yeah, you're going to be walking, you're going to be advancing, but where are you going to? So it's always, and I'm also taking that advice myself, because I'm still in the process of finding someone who is going to hold my hand. But I think every girl in STEM given the fact that STEM is very broad and that different cultures face different difficulties and all, you need to find someone whom you admire to hold your hand.
Thank you very much. Wissam.
I I would let them just watch this this video, because I think what every single girl said throughout the past questions about getting a mentor, getting actually understanding the broad of how many things you can do within tech. I think this, if I watched this video 5 years ago, I would have just I wouldn't doubt a second being in tech.
That is very true. Amy, because you brought up this conversation, you are the first person to mention about mentors. What is your word to the mentors that are out there that are not doing their job?
I think the mentors would kill me if I said no. I'm joking, but I think if you're in a position where you're able to help other women, younger women and young girls, please take that opportunity to help someone, because I think as you're helping someone, pulling their hand, you're also learning something new. Don't doubt the mind of a young person. You know, they have a different way of thinking, of processing things. You can learn so much. You know, take a person who has a lot of 20 years plus experience, and then you take somebody with no experience. You can learn a lot from this person. Don't doubt them, because they question things. You know, they're like, why are you doing this process? Why are you taking the long way around? You can shorten it by doing this. You can, you know, they teach you so many things. And if you don't do it, like, change starts with you. Do it and encourage other people to do it as well. You can change somebody's life by just telling them, by giving them guidance on what to do and how to do it. And the change starts from there. I feel like it builds like a very awesome productive chain of, you help someone, that person will also help someone, then they'll help another, and then it just becomes this very beautiful and productive chain of events where you help one another. And I mean, you don't lose anything other than your time, but um, it's this is the advice I have for other women who are also in STEM. Please help us.
It is a ripple effect. It is a ripple effect. And we keep, that's how we keep growing each other. And I like something that you have said, that we need to also listen to the younger generation. And one thing I have come to realize is the younger generation are very creative. Their minds are very fast. You know, like Flora said, they know Google. They possibly have read more than we have read, you know. So being a mentor is two-way. I teach you, but I also learn from you, and I have to be open to learning from you. So, ladies, we are going to do another round table, and in this round table, I want to just each of you. These are your parting shots in just one statement or two. Encourage and give hope to a girl who is not sure whether STEM is the way to go, who is possibly in a region that is not open to STEM, and they have grown up believing that women are just homemakers, like we've all discussed. So, in that parting shot, and we'll start with Amy, and I'll go around the table. Let us encourage another girl. Let's be the mentors who will pull up another girl. Yeah. So, Amy, let's start with.
um, I would say, if you're interested in a career in STEM, you know, or even just a bit curious about it, you know, like what Flora said, you want to know how your phone works, you want to know how this works, you know, you're curious and you want to know about it, then go for it. Follow your dreams. You know, it's an endless world of possibilities, you know, and once you're in, like, you'll never look back. You know, everybody has a right to dream and have hopes and aspirations. So go for it and you'll never look back.
Thank you, Amy. Flora?
Okay, I just want to say one thing. Girl, you're powerful. Girl, you can do everything you put your mind to do. So, if there are 4 words I can put this in, the first thing is imagine. Imagine possible. Imagine impossible. Imagine, let your imaginations go wild. And the second thing is believe in yourself, because it is in believing in yourself that you actually want to start doing the thing. If you don't believe, if you doubt yourself, then you're not going to be able to do anything. Believe in yourself. Then the third thing is take those baby steps. Is it by reading an article on Google? Is it by talking to someone who you want to be your mentor in the future? Take any baby step you need to take. And fourthly, continuously research, do a lot of research, find out about the new things that are happening with Tesla, with every other thing. Keep your mind open, and I believe you're going to be a perfect example of a lady who succeeded in STEM.
Wonderful. Hatis, what do you have to tell us?
So, well, from wrapping up from what girls said, even from the mentors topic, be your inspiration because you can do it. We just talked about the reality of how it is hard to find mentors while we needed help, specifically, even though they are in the executive positions, they may not be willing to hold your hands, right? So if you are growing an interest around the specific topic, then don't feel fragile and motivate yourself. So reiterating again, you can be your inspiration because you can do it.
Thank
I think that
you. Wissam.
I don't know what else to say of the amazing words that other girls said. I like Flora's like starting baby steps because personally I always get anxious. I get a wave of anxiety when I see like I want to be something big and then I see it as a big goal. But if you start it step by step, every day you get closer and you see how it's actually not that big. It's like an average size goal. And also be open. My is to be open because as you said, mentors will not just approach you. You have to approach any mentor. So if you're interested in a line and you find someone being there, actually they are shy, but try not to be shy. Try just to approach, and most people will just appreciate that you took the first step and towards your goal. That's it. And try new things. Always try new things. Till the day you die, always keep trying because tech is always changing. You always need to try new things.
Thank you so much. Ladies, I think we have had such a beautiful time. I almost wish it wouldn't end, but unfortunately, it has to come to an end. I have learned so much from you guys, and I believe people out there, the audience has also learned so much. It has been such an enlightening discussion. So, even as I close, maybe I can also close with my own story. Myself, I graduated with as an electronic engineer over 20 years ago. That was a long time ago. 90% of my work life has actually been in the engineering field. Today I do something different. I deal with social media, I deal with brand, but I have come from a very long journey to be where I am today. So like we say, you can be anything you want to become. Now, in my time, I did things that many women were not doing. Women were not climbing towers. I climbed towers all the way to 7 months of pregnancy. I pulled cables. I got dirty. I lacked sleep because of an equipment failure. I managed to do many things. And so I want to encourage young women out there and girls out there that this field is not a preserve of a few. There is nowhere where it is written that it is only these people that can get into STEM. STEM is open for everyone. and we are not different from anyone else. Our minds run the same, our brains run the same. Someone good in history, whether it's a man or a woman, is good in history. Someone who is good in maths, the brain of a woman, brain of a man, we'll all go out there and we will perfect it. So what I tell you is you can be anything you want. You only need to put your mind to it. And like Flora has said, step by step, you will get there. Thank you, ladies, for the time. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we will now close this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yay.